Well, hello there, Chick Chat. We are here to talk about Love is Blind. And this is our first time live. It's me by myself today, as you can see. I am Brookless. Brooke is working today. And when she works, it's really hard to get her on here. We usually film one day a week and we kind of cram everything into that day. So I'm really trying something new. I'm trying to do this to kind of feel out members only content. Our goal is to start memberships eventually here and then do members only content where we will do live streams instead of our regular videos that get edited and all that. This video is going to be kind of rough because I've never done the lives before. It's not going to be edited and you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. But I am here to talk about Love is Blind. Normally we cover the entire season episode by episode and we do our normal thing. But, this season dropped and I was dealing with a possible move. I mean, my whole area is cleared out and my audio might still sound funky because I'm still trying to get all my stuff out of storage. Because I was supposed to move to Michigan, because my husband was supposed to deploy and now he's not deploying. Army life, I'll spare you the details. But we're going to try something new today, and I'm going to talk about Love is Blind, the season thus far. I feel like I can cram all this into one live stream instead of multiple videos. I do have my doggos in here, so you might see them running around as well. So thank you for joining for the first time ever. I'm not even sure if I'm going to have many viewers on the live stream, but if I get you on the replay, thank you for watching. It's going to be a little rough. So also give us some feedback on how you think this is going. And if you would be interested in doing memberships, if we could all go live together and chat about this kind of thing. I'm very interested to see if some people will pop in with some information here and there about Love is Blind or about what's going on today and within the last season. So it took me forever to actually get through this drop of Love is Blind because I swear most of these people, it just feels like are clout chasers. And a lot of these people, especially in the pods, use the word like as every other word. It was so difficult to get through. I swear I watched episode 1, 2, maybe part of 3, and then I had to put it down for like a week because I couldn't get through it. In fact, I just watched all of the rest of the season within the last like 2-3 days. And I'm like, all right, I guess I can talk about it because, man, that was a rough season. And I don't know, between the weird like as every other word, which trust me and Brooke use the word like a lot. That's probably the main thing that I edit out of our videos is the word like and and our weird pauses. So trust me, I understand that it's very common, but it's just so hard to watch. I don't know if anybody else felt that way, but I guess compared to the UK version, this version was just like strange. I don't know. I don't think you can ever really remake Lauren and Cameron or Bliss and Zach for me or Brett and Tiffany. So I don't know. It's just kind of going more and more downhill. But I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts on the seasons thus far. I don't expect much from this live stream, but if you got an opinion or two, just throw it in the chat. Anyways, I'm going to start off with this crazy man right here, Leo. Now, Leo is an art dealer. Apparently, his parents and his grandparents are all passed away, and that's why he is now in charge of his art dealings. Not really sure, how that came about or anything. He doesn't dive much into that. He keeps doing this thing where he was like, oh, I don't want to be known for my money and I don't want to be wanted for my money. But then that's all he literally talked about. Or maybe that was just shady Netflix editing, but it was constant, like talking about how filthy rich he was and his Rolex and all these other dealings. And, I don't know if some people were into that, but honestly, it probably would have put me off for sure. He was definitely a strange one. The weird love triangle between him, Brittany, Hannah, and Nick. It was the only love triangle we really got, because anybody else who was in a love triangle type situation, it fizzled out like real quick. I think it was Marissa that was in a love triangle, and she, the moment she talked to Ramses or whatever at some point, yeah, she was like, okay, I'm good, I'm done, I'm gonna tell the next guy it's over. Like, it was like that. It wasn't like last season where we had multiple love triangles. Like, that was a love web last season. So I am glad that we don't have all that confusion going on, but it was interesting. So he was talking to Hannah and Brittany, and Hannah reminds me of like Marsha Brady now. Like, if you see any of her Instagrams now, she looks so good. She had such a great glow up. But he was torn between those two, and I think Hannah was going to drop him, or she was going to drop Nick for him. And she did. I mean, she did. She was going to send Nick away, but then Brittany came in all excited from her last date. And Hannah was like, oh no, I might lose my slot. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I think a lot of these people just did this for whatever happens afterwards, whether it's perfect match or brand deals or whatever. Now, ever since season 4, I want to say, like, it just feels like all these people are just into the brand deals and into the after. Nothing feels genuine anymore. But I digress. It's chaotic. But him and Hannah, I actually didn't mind them as a couple, but I didn't think it was ever going to last. Never. Okay. Hold on. I want to see. Brooke's texting me, you guys. So hold on. She's actually probably here right now. I see your text, Brooke. If you want to hop on and you're not working or whatever, you can hop on at any point. Trust me, us chick chatters would freaking love it. Because I'm just a one-man show right here by myself. But yeah. I don't know, though, if he would have been as into Hannah if he saw her in person. I think he would have had the same reaction that Hannah had when she saw Nick, where you could tell they weren't really that into her. But, I think that people like him are definitely looks driven, no matter what he said in his little thing about seeing Brittany. He's like, I don't care what she looks like. I could have 500 Victoria's Secret models in here, and I would still pick her. I don't care what she looks like. Like, I don't know if I believe that. But, I digress on that. But when he saw Hannah again after Hannah kept Nick around, he was starting to feel the same way Hannah was. Like, he was like, okay, now I'm going to lock down Hannah. He was so wishy-washy between the two. Hannah would have hated Leo. Oh, I think so too. I honestly think, Brooke, that Leo and Nick look very similar, but I don't think she would have liked Leo either. Because what her whole deal was this season was having a man to do things for himself. And Leo don't probably do anything for himself. I mean, I don't know Leo. This is all alleged. But for the guy with money like that, you got to assume he's got housekeepers. He pays people to do those kinds of things, which to each their own. Hannah also was one of the only ones in the pods who did not ever talk to Leo about his money, which is why he liked keeping her around. But, then he picks the girl who wants him for his money. And it was pretty apparent when he asked Brittany, what he asked Brittany, oh, what do you expect of a relationship? 50-50 or whatever. And she's like, well, I expect a little bit more than 50-50. I don't want to pay as much as the guy. Everybody's got their own opinion, sure. But obviously, there was, I don't know, there was just a lot more going on there. She was trying to say that she didn't want certain things just to make it look that way. But I think Brittany was really only seeing Leo because he said he had some money. But, whatever. And in fact, I think that was the case. They had the strangest reveal, but we'll get to that. So as Leo is going back and forth between Hannah and Brittany, he sees Nick and Hannah are getting a lot stronger. And he don't like that. Imagine the egg Leo would have gotten if Hannah sat down as she did with dude to Leo. about the finances, he would have been terrified. Leo got the finances though, you know? I don't think Leo would have had as much issue with the finances. I don't even think Hannah would have brought up the finances with Leo. I think she would have brought up everything else, but I honestly don't think they would have made it past Mexico, you know, especially if Leo wanted to ride some ducks. Oh my God, I'm making myself laugh. So as they're like going back and forth, Leo then decides to come back to Hannah and just lay it all on her. We would have thought he was trying to get it for herself. Oh yeah. I think he thought all the girls were trying to get it for themselves, not the ducks. Yeah, I think he thought all of the girls were trying to like get it for themselves. Come on in, Brooke, if you got a minute. Anyways, so he comes to Hannah and he's like, don't tell me that you're going to pick this guy over me. I'm going to pick you. I love you, Hannah. And he just kept asking her to stay. She's crying her eyes out. And I'm just like, girl, you were so sure about Nick, right? Right? It's because Nick was also her second choice. I really think that for some reason, she thought Nick looked like Travis Kelce for real, even though he said he looked better than Travis Kelce. I think he was joking, but these people in the pods, you got her saying she looks like Taylor Swift, him saying he looks better than Travis Kelce. Last season, we had Megan Fox. Like, these people need to chill on saying they look like celebrities, okay? Pretty much, if y'all are ever interested in going on Love is Blind, if somebody tells you they look like a celebrity, assume that they do not look like said celebrity. Assume that they look like the Temu brand of that celebrity, okay? These people are crazy with this. You know, I think that needs to be banned in the further seasons, like at all of it. But actually, what I thought was interesting about this season is it seems like only a couple people didn't talk about their looks at all. Can't remember who. I want to say it was... Oh man, you know, I'm really bad with names, but I want to say it was Ashley. Didn't talk about her looks. I don't know, just a couple of them did not talk about looks at all. So it seems like this season they really kind of at least played around with looks. And, you know, that don't really go good for anybody. So, yeah, I don't know. I always feel like the reveals are so awkward. I mean, I just couldn't imagine going through those reveals, but... Yeah, so, you know, the girls were really solid this season. You know, even Brittany and Hannah, who are in the only love triangle of the whole season, they got along pretty well. And whenever things would happen, they would go to each other. Like when Hannah and Leo had this conversation about, you know, Hannah having to talk to him in the morning about possibly moving forward with just Leo. You know, I thought it was interesting that Hannah went right up to Brittany and told her all of it. But what I thought was more interesting was that afterwards of the second conversation, when she goes to see Leo and she tells him that it's off, you know, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to stick with Nick. And, you know, I don't know if that was in response to just him being like, I picked Brittany. Like, I don't even remember who said what first, but they're like, he's like, it's mutual, right? Like, it's mutual. I don't know. It seems like they were both trying to keep their spot on the show by just going for whoever is going to say yes. And at the moment, it felt like Hannah was probably leaning more towards Nick. So he was like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go with Brittany. So to each their own. But yeah, this guy was strange. His Rolex complex, his, you know, I don't want people to like me for my money, but at the same time, that's all I'm going to talk about. He could have went on that show, not mentioned the fact he had money. He could have just said he was an art dealer. I don't think a lot of people realize how much those people make. I mean, I don't know. I would assume that they make decent money, but I wouldn't think, you know, they'd be in like the seven figures or anything like that. So to each their own. I mean, it is what it is. So he picks Brittany over Hannah, and Hannah picks Nick over him. And they both had such strange reveals. And when I say like strange reveals, like, okay, we'll talk about Brittany and Leo's reveal, because after that, we're pretty much done with them anyways. So Nick and Brittany had the strangest reveal. He was so excited to see her, but look at this girl, you guys. Terrified. I would have been terrified too. I know Love is Blind, they have a lot of alcohol involved in these scenes and everything. Like, trust me, I know that they drink a lot. And last season, they made a huge, like, they made a huge deal of, oh, hi, Brooke. Oh, we're going to see Brooke soon. She's going to be coming on, you guys. Thank goodness. Say hi. I noticed last season that they made a big deal about showing us food. Like there were tables of food and this and that because of, there have been a few lawsuits that have come out of the show of castmates saying that Love is Blind pretty much just fuels them up with alcohol and then that's it. Like they don't give them much food, they don't give them much water. It's just mainly alcohol. So it seemed like last season Love is Blind was on this thing of like we got to make sure that people know that we feed these people. They even had a huge table of food at the reunion. It was crazy. So I know there's alcohol involved in a lot of this, and even so, like Leo was so creepy. You could tell he was so excited that she looked the way she did. He's like, "Oh my god, you're so beautiful. Oh my god, I love you so much." And I knew things were not. I knew the moment Brittany saw him, she was like, "Oh, you're rich, but you're not. You're not hot." Ew, I could feel her ick, and I hate saying the ick. I trust me, I hate it. It was used a lot this season. I hate that word. I don't know why the word the ick gives me the ick, but you could feel Brittany's uncomfortableness just looking at this man. But yeah, he wants to sit with her, and not on that weird little bench thing, but on this yellow couch. Oh, here's Brooke, you guys.
Hi.
Hello, thank you for joining your live.
I've been trapped in this office all day. I'm crying.
Oh my god. Sorry. Well, Brooke decided to join us for this. How did you feel about this reveal, Brooke?
Ugh. Just like she said it was the most awkward moment of her life, it too was the most awkward moment of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, he was strange. He was grabbing the back of her neck, which I thought was just
Serial killery.
Yes, thank you. I was like, there's something wrong with this man. Like
Yeah, no, it was creepy.
that was the first time I wondered what happened to his parents and his grandparents for him to hear all this at once. Because
No, he said they all died from cancer, which I also felt like was questionable. I mean, this man went on like a 5-minute tangent of like, so my mom got cancer and died. So my dad got cancer and died. My stepdad got cancer and died.
oh my gosh.
Like,
If I was him, I'd be
please.
doing screenings every week.
That's what I was thinking. I was worried he was gonna drop dead in front of us, and then he comes out and does this reveal, and he's all serial killer vibes. Like, just look at this picture. It's
Yeah.
freaky. Look at her face. Like, he would not let her go. He was so
All over her. Yeah.
and he's not even a big guy.
No, and then he even gave her his jacket, which like I know that room can't be cold. All these girls are wearing dresses and stuff. So when he's like, "Hey, you cold?" She's like, "No." And he's like, "Do you want my jacket?" She's probably like, "Yeah, any kind of barrier between me and you right now."
She wanted his jacket because she wanted to see how much money that thing was worth.
Maybe.
She kept it. She walked out of there with it.
See, I don't know about you, but I knew the minute she started bringing up, well, if we don't go to Mexico, we can go to Miami, right? I knew they weren't going anymore. I knew we weren't going to see them in Mexico. I don't know if producers already told them that or what, but I guess the producer said they didn't continue to follow them because they didn't have enough, they didn't expect that many people to get engaged and go to Mexico. But I'm like, Leo could have afforded Mexico.
That's also true. They should have maybe said like, we kind of sense that you guys are here for your own motives. So if you would like to pay your way through and we'll just expose you via camera,
Mm-hmm.
then that could have maybe worked for them. But yeah, it's interesting to me. I mean, we did have, I think they followed 6 couples. There was that article that came out that said something about they usually try to follow 5, but sometimes they'll stretch to 6. This would have been 7. So, I mean, I also think it's a lot to follow on the show. It's kind of overwhelming to even have 6, to be honest. And we do lose a few naturally, but it's still a lot. So I'm not mad that we didn't follow them. I was mad in that moment though when that black screen came up and it was like, so we're not going to follow them. Also, they broke up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I wanted to see that. But then again, in hindsight, I mean, maybe I wanted to see their relationship more than maybe some other relationships. But I don't think it was necessary. I don't think it was real. I don't think it was anything. I don't even think that girl was like I know it's obvious she's like very surface level girl, but I don't even think she was there for any good reason.
Yeah, no, she was originally saying she pretty much wasn't, but I don't think a lot of these people were here for very good reasons, but
I
you
gotta
know.
fill this up. I shall return.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna move on from Leo and Brittany and their whole mess. I did one more thing before we move on though, is I'm not really at first I kind of stopped watching for a day because I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to see this mess. I wanted to see him dig himself into further and further holes. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm kind of glad we didn't follow them because I mean there was a lot of dramatics this season and we really truly didn't need him. So bye, Leo.
Bye.
All right. Who we want to get into next, Brooke? What do you think?
I want to talk about because I don't know how long I'm gonna be on here, but I definitely want to talk about either what's his name? I call him your ex-boyfriend.
Oh, Ramses?
Ramses. Either that guy or is that the other guy's name Tyler, the one with the babies?
Yes.
I'll talk about either one of them.
All right. Well, we'll start on Ramses since I have this picture pulled up. So Ramses is very similar to one of my ex-boyfriends. So it really gives me PTSD, and I automatically did not care for this guy the moment I saw him because of that. So I'm biased. But
yeah, no, I watched this like a couple days at least, if not a week before you started watching it. And the second that I saw him, I'm like, oh, that's gonna trigger Anne. And then he started opening his mouth and all that, and I'm like, this guy, like, not the opening his mouth part about your ex, but even just like personality traits. I'm like, she's not gonna like this guy.
no. And then the fact that this man had 2 dreads or 3 dreads in his hair. I was calling him 2 dread dude like the whole time just because I don't get it. Like I don't get how he did that. And I think you're right. It could be a clip on.
I think it is a clip on, I swear.
But yeah, this man, like he seemed okay in the beginning. He's obviously very progressive, but at the same time, I think the biggest issue between them is this whole birth control thing. Like,
and that's what, like I said in the text that we were talking about, how can you claim to be such a progressive and liberal man in the second that someone asks you to change your own ways in order to accommodate a woman, God forbid?
yeah,
You're like, oh, no, that's too far. You have to deal with that all on your own. The sex has to be enjoyable, but also I can't do anything to accommodate that for you. You can only accommodate me. This is no, this is not how we're living in this day and age. I refuse. She should refuse.
yeah, that whole conversation just like infuriated me because I mean, he's talking about having an enjoyable experience, and it's like, for one, intercourse or whatever, intimacy is more than just that. And you just met this girl. You're pretty much telling me that for however long, you've not been wearing protection. So who knows what you got going on? If I were her, I'd be getting tested.
Yeah.
Because the way this man responded to having to wear a rubber for a few days, even and the way he was about her period, it was just so strange. I was like,
I know.
You've been married before, sir. I mean, I know that maybe okay, like I can give him that. Like, I don't know if that was his main and only relationship is this girl, so he's not used to wearing rubbers, and that's probably what he might say on the reunion. But
I hope not. I hope that's not his damn excuse.
It could be. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's just say that. I would not be surprised at all. I don't know. He was very anti-military, which obviously I live on a military base. My husband's active duty. So I'm like already kind of like, okay, sir, then, if you're anti that, then I don't know what you're doing here. But I also can see on the other end, like if you come from places where you've been affected negatively by the military, I can see where you might have that standpoint. Sure. To each their own. They talked a lot of politics, and they talked
That's
a lot.
okay, but don't date somebody who is in the military.
Exactly. Or somebody who could potentially go back into the military. Like she's,
Yeah.
she said she thought about going back into reserve. She's like, but if I did, we wouldn't be here. And he's like, no. And it's like,
That's what I can't get behind. There's too many deal breakers for him. And I
mhm,
get that his he said that his ex-wife also, like, they got a divorce because of religion, and that can be a really big thing. You have to align generally on some of your values. That is understandable. But at the same time, to just I feel like this is a pattern now. You left your wife because of religion, which is a value that you seem to be pretty stubborn in. You may leave her if she just decides to join the military again, which is that just seems too patterny to me. I'm not feeling it. And
no.
it's not even about if she decides to join the military again or the reserves or anything like that. That was her life for her whole life. If you
Yeah.
cannot respect what she's done for her whole life, then she's not your girl. She's not your wife. You have to at least have some level of understanding and respect for where that person comes from, even if it isn't a path you would choose for yourself.
Yeah. This man was giving hobosexual vibes to me, which is why I think her mom picked up on that. Like her mom
Yeah.
was like, you are not going to be living off my daughter. In fact, by the time I got to the mom scene, because Brooke had already showed me the scene before I even got through the season, because trust me, Negan
Oh
through the
yeah.
season was like tooth and nail. But by the time I even got to her scene, I was like, you know what, girl, tell him all that. Because I'm fine with it. He needs to hear all this. I mean, not that he doesn't already know, he's already been divorced, so you're not really scaring him with anything. He's like, okay, this
Mhm.
would just be my second divorce. You
Well,
know?
when I saw the mom meeting, I'm pretty sure the mom meeting happened before the birth control stuff and the intimacy and
Yeah.
her PMSing and all of that. And I at first I felt bad for him. Like I felt terrible for him when I heard the way that her mom was talking to him. I just didn't think it was nice. That's not the way that I would want my in-law relationship to start out.
Mm-hmm.
But her mom had an intuition there. Her mom has some life experience that I don't have. And she saw right through that man. I mean, look at him in his
Yeah.
shirt. We should have known with the shirt. I thought the shirt was cute until afterwards. And I see the way he acts, and I'm like, no, I should have known. Like, then that's the first thing she said. I don't like it.
Yeah. He's like, oh, he's got like a weird vintage 80s style, which is fine. He just, I don't know, something about him screams hobosexual to me. Like, I don't even know what this man does for a living. It seemed like he was just kind of waiting for her to come out of school all day. I know he does something remote, but I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was. So if anybody knows, Chick Chatters, I know there's not many people watching live, but if anybody knows, just let us know later in the comments because I can't figure out what this guy does. They might have said it when he was in the pods, but them in the pods was so brief. Like you barely saw them. Like you saw a little bit of their love triangle, but like I was saying earlier, theirs was so brief to where when she was talking to the other guy after she had a good conversation with him, she's like, okay, I'm gonna cut it off. It wasn't like last season where we had a web going on of
Right.
things.
That's
So
very true. Yeah.
if I were her, I would not marry this guy, but that's just me.
No, and unfortunately, I feel like if they do make it to the aisle, the altar, whatever, I feel like he's going to be the one to say no,
You know,
which
maybe.
is just not the story that I want for her.
No, I would be surprised if they say yes, but like someone else said, they look like siblings. Not that that's bad, but they definitely look like they could be siblings or
They
something.
do, yeah. I see where people are going with that for sure. And at the same time, they don't. But
Yeah. They probably had one of the best reveals though. I mean, I think their reveal was a lot better than almost everybody else's. There's a couple good reveals, but for the most part, it was so awkward for everybody. I was just
yeah, it's always awkward, but I do agree. I feel like they showed more of the reveals this season, longer extended cuts of the reveals this season.
mhm. Yeah. Especially Brittany's and Leo's, but we already got into that. So
Tyler just got home.
hello, Tyler. We're
Chick Chat
live.
live?
We're
Chick Chat is
live.
live.
Chick
We're
Chat's
trying
live!
we're
Yeah,
trying
all four
something
of
new
us.
today.
Yeah.
We're
All
testing
four of
something
you.
out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, this was unplanned, so.
Hmm.
What we're gonna get into next.
Let's Kim say hi.
Can we talk about, is it Tyler? Not this Tyler, but the other Tyler?
We're gonna talk about
We're going to talk about Tyler, so I'm not conjuring you when I say your
I'm
name.
gonna go.
I'm not conjuring you.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about this man right here, Tyler.
Yeah. We were all rooting for you, Tyler.
That's the thing, at first I was really rooting for them. I was like, if any couple is my favorite couple this season, it's probably this one. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And her mom is gorgeous. Her whole
Yeah.
family is gorgeous, not gonna lie. But
it felt so wholesome though,
Yeah.
and loving and honest.
Yeah. I mean, look at him. He was great. But the thing is that she found out at some point, it was so random how it was put in the episode, but they just decided to throw in there after all this other drama and everything going on.
Wait a minute. Does this say sperm donor?
Yep. He's a sperm donor. Is that what it says where?
On the title of this photo.
Oh, yeah, probably. I think most of his photos are titled that. So. Yeah, that's the thing. So we found out he was a sperm donor at I don't know if it was a sperm bank, but he donated for his friend, apparently.
Yes, no bank involved, just friend on friend. I don't know how it was actually happened, but
That's the question I have is, was it just a baster baby?
Lots of questions there. Also, I've heard a lot of rumors about this. Like, I've heard that this is an ex-girlfriend. I've heard that this is an ex-girlfriend who was also bisexual. And so that's the way that was all okay and happened. I've heard that this was like planned in some fashions. I've seen photos of this man with these babies. And let's not forget, this last episode, this man told Ashley, that's her name, right? Ashley?
Yep.
This man told Ashley, I don't think those kids know what I look like.
Look at him. They look exactly like him.
On these photos here. They're looking at him. Well, I guess I'm not looking at him in any.
They're looking at him, and he looks just like them. Look at this.
I know.
Look at this. They are identical. His whole face is on these kids. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I just don't get it. Like, why lie about this? If these are your kids, whether they're in some form of donation or they're actually your kids or whatever. I mean, the grandma of these kids is apparently all over social media saying that he just deleted all of this off of his social media and that he was an actual active father. That's way different than sperm donation. I know some people like to boil down a deadbeat dad as a sperm donor, but I don't even think that's what we're referring to here. I don't think that even belongs here. I think he either abandoned these children that he had willingly and with intent, or he helped out some family and he's involved in this weird way. But why lie about it? That is the part that I don't understand, because him and Ashley could have worked out. They could have been great. Apparently, I heard some spoilers about their relationship that I'm not going to give to you guys. You can go look up yourselves.
We're just chatting.
I didn't want to know this, so I'm not going to go tell people. So you guys can go look if you want to know.
I kind of want to know just because, I mean, I don't think if she's smart, she'll say no. You know, I'm actually surprised she continued with it, because for me, that would have been a deal breaker. And not even just the sperm bank thing, which that I think in itself might have been a deal breaker for me in the pods. I'm not going to lie. Because, Dean was saying, like, what's the big deal about it? And I said, well,
I don't think there's a big deal about it at all. I would have, but that's what makes me so mad about this is if I were Ashley and I heard that story, I'd be like, that's okay. I can get behind that. I don't like the lie. Pretty much the same thing that she did.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not that. And so if she says yes, this is not that. This is a whole, who are you? Who are you?
Yeah, and who knows his relationship with the mother or mothers or whatever's going on. Like, he made it just seem like he was just helping out a friend. But I've also seen photos of him snugged up with the girl and as well and everything. Like, look how many kids there are.
I know. Well, the girls are twins.
Yeah.
And then there's a boy. But he apparently owes child support, like some large number. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not a sperm donation. Sperm
No.
donors have a paper like Ashley asked for that says, I'm not part of this.
Yeah. No, this man intentionally went on this show, I think, for either, I think it might have been he just went on there for clout. Maybe he was going to go back for his kids, or maybe he was just going to abandon them in general. But it's not a good move if you're going to abandon some kids to go on TV because they won't find you.
What do you mean you're going on television? And not even just if you're kids, but everyone around. I mean, we've seen this
Mhm.
happen on Love is Blind time after time after time. There's an ex, there's a mother-in-law, there's a whatever that comes out and exposes these people, thankfully. But usually it's already too late by that time. I
Yep.
mean, this stuff was filmed 2 years ago. So
Oh, yeah.
I just hate for Ashley that she wasn't able to have all the information and she thought that she got over that hurdle with him. Like, here's the big thing that's going to happen. We figured it out. She thought she had all the information, and he presented it to her as if, yes, I was hiding this from you, and now I'm going to tell you the whole truth. And little
Yeah.
does she know that's not even a sliver of the truth. It's
And
not even.
right. And had they just broken up, like that would be one thing, but he continued it and then never told her any of this. So it's
I
like
know.
you got all these photos that are gonna come out, and it's like, what? I just
And you
feel
have.
so bad for her. Like, imagine if she does say yes at the altar. Now she got to divorce him because all this
Mhm.
crap. And
Imagine
Netflix,
if she's not divorcing him. Imagine if they've been together for a year and a half now and she still didn't know about none of this stuff. And now he's got her out here looking stupid as all hell. Now what?
yeah. And the
I
thing
just
is
hate this
Netflix,
for her because she's so awesome and beautiful and
she
kind
is.
and has like all these great things going for her. And it's very clear that she can be a partner in a relationship that's very healthy, that's very
Mm-hmm.
wholesome and sweet. And I just hate Tyler for
Yeah.
all of the lies.
And you're totally right. And Blue, it is so hard to watch them knowing this now
Yeah.
because he's still trying to play this off like, oh, it's no big deal. I just did some stuff in a cup for my friends or whatever. I think he literally had these kids. I mean, that's my assumption is that this is, like you said, like possibly an ex that's just like swings both ways and maybe she's moved on. But
Mhm.
I don't, it's strange. I need more explanation. I don't understand it at all.
A
But,
lot more.
and that's what you subject yourself to when you go on TV like this. And Netflix has this clause or something, is what a lot of contestants have said, alleged, that you have to stay married until at least the After the Altar special. So
That's wild.
she could be stuck until then. Although
That's wild.
we haven't been getting many After the Altar specials since season 4, but not
That's
going
also true. Maybe you have to stay married until the reunion.
possible.
Possible. It just
Possible.
feels like a lot. I mean, either way, I don't know. Lots of things are written into contracts. I'm certainly not a lawyer, but that just is wild to me to have to
Yeah.
be like lawyered into your marriage because you're gonna get a fine or you're gonna be sued for getting a
Yeah.
divorce by a third party.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But
But
I know
they do be out here doing crazy stuff in those contracts, so I wouldn't be shocked.
it's just so hard to watch the last 2 episodes of them like doing the dress fitting and doing all that. Like watching her put on the dress and me like knowing that this man is doing all this. I'm like,
Mhm.
girl, take that dress off
I
or save it for
know.
somebody else.
I know, like, Hannah had more business being at that dress fitting than Ashley did at that
Oh,
moment.
for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I was surprised that she didn't show up, but the meeting, I know you already talked about them, but
No,
I
I
wasn't
haven't
able
gotten to
to.
Hannah. I just talked about Leo so far.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Should we get into
I
them?
mean, I can get into Hannah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way that she did not show up surprised me because we saw the friend meeting and it did not go beautifully, no, because she decided to start an argument in front of her friends with him. But I didn't know that it went so bad that she was not going to marry him just based off of that.
Well, honestly, their relationship has been so up and down, you know, like it's kind of hard to watch
I
because
know. For me too, I've been at some point, I'm like, I'm sure they're going to get married and they're going to be great together. And then other points, I'm like, they're probably not going to get married and that's really sad. And then I'm like, they're never going to get married and they're awful. I don't really know.
me, the whole time I was like, this ain't gonna work. The moment that man got on them ducks, I knew it wasn't gonna work because I am like him. If I saw them ducks, I'm jumping on them ducks. But if I wasn't gonna jump on them ducks, I would gladly just watch and clap, maybe take some videos. You know, if Dean wanted to go out on them ducks, if a woman came up and wanted to race him, I'd just watch. I don't see. I tried to find where the girl called her a jealous B word. I think she did say like, "Oh, you know, your girl's a little jealous over there."
Yeah.
But Hannah totally upplayed that to everybody she could talk to. She was like,
Yes. And I don't know how many times she has to tell this story. I mean, we've heard her
ridiculous.
talk about it 3 or 4 times just on camera. So
Yeah.
imagine
Imagine.
the poor ducks just constantly being recalled.
That resort had no idea what they were doing when they set them ducks out there. I'll tell you that. They
What
had
were
no
those
idea.
for? They weren't there for riding, right?
I think they were. I think they were there for, I mean, there was a lot of them lined up. I would have assumed they were for racing.
I thought they were kind of a cute barrier to something.
Maybe.
I don't think they were there for riding.
I don't know. It looked like they were. I mean, he easily raced in that thing. So, I mean, I probably would have.
Easily? He had to lift it and walk it.
Well, he was able to.
That's why I don't think they're meant for riding. They don't have wheels or they're.
Well, look, I mean, in the sand, I don't know. Like maybe it was just they were just gliders.
Maybe they're chairs. I don't know.
Maybe
But they were
they're
small for
floaties.
chairs.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. It's like, well, you know, I could see where she might be a little bit thrown off by that because now she's got to wonder, you know, if they move in together and she puts lawn ornaments outside, if he's gonna just start riding those things across the lawn, like little.
And there are some points where I can relate to Hannah a little bit because I kind of take myself too seriously sometimes, and I have a husband who is incredibly silly, and he's a little brother, and that's just his personality is the personality of a little brother. So that gets difficult for me sometimes. So I found myself relating to Hannah sometimes because she is a little too serious and can't get herself out of serious mode. Even her parents were looking at her, what's wrong with you? Why are you so stressed out? So I was relating to that part. And it's a good reminder to me to just pay attention sometimes to how my husband is feeling. And if he wants to be silly and we're not dying, then it's okay to be silly.
It's good to learn from reality TV sometimes.
It is. So I saw myself a little bit in Hannah and the not great parts of myself. So I guess that was useful for me.
Yeah. I do want to say that they are the first couple I think that have ever shown engagement photos or anything like that. So I was pretty surprised that she didn't go to the dress fitting and at least kind of stick out just going to the wedding.
Right.
But, you know, as we've already said, yeah, they don't end up making it to the altar. She ends up breaking it off right at the same day as the dress fitting. I don't even think he went to the tux fitting. I think she just called him over and was like, listen, we can't do this anymore. But they were butting heads a lot. I mean, from the first moment, their reveal was awkward. You could tell she was expecting somebody totally different. It's like she was like trying not to look around. It was giving Jimmy when he saw Chelsea doing her dinosaur run. Like a little that girl
was breathing so heavy.
She was so out of breath. And it wasn't the run, it was the breathing for me, honestly. Like
it was the dino arms for me.
She breathes like my dog. So I was like dying.
I wasn't even as far on the Chelsea hate train as a lot of people were, but that entrance was just terrible. And then didn't she do something similar throughout the season? She ran to somebody again. I don't know.
She's great at running. I love her.
She's hilarious. Yeah.
In fact, a lot of people have been comparing Hannah to Chelsea, and Hannah apparently takes it as a compliment. She's like, "I love her. She's great. Like whatever." And she, you know, I do find them kind of similar. Although I think Hannah is more aggressive. Like Chelsea's more emotional to me, and Hannah's more like aggressive. I'm a she-man man hater. You know, she's got to have a man that can hang a TV for some reason. Like, she's really set on, can you mount a TV?
There was a couple women that asked that, and you know what? Good for them, because the disappointment I was disappointing in my husband the first time I tried to see that man hang a television was like palpable. So he learned, though. That's the other thing. You should be asking, have you hung a television? Are you willing to learn how to hang a television?
Yeah.
How many YouTube videos are you willing to watch to learn how to hang the television? Or would you rather just put holes in the wall like my
Right. Yeah. No, for sure.
No, I had
And
to resort, honestly, to calling, and my mom gave me this idea because I'm telling you, I was at my wit's end with mounting this television and this man. I had to call my mom to complain about it, and she gave me the really good idea. We have a friend that lives nearby, and she's like, "Why don't you just text your friend, let him know the situation, not
Mhm.
in a so frustrating way, but that you guys need some help because my husband did not want to ask anyone for help." So she's like, just tell him to act like he was in the neighborhood and then be like, "Oh, you got this TV here? You need some help? I'll help you out." So I
Yeah.
did. And he came over and it seemed so organic. And the fucking TV was hung up in 5 minutes. so,
Perfect. Well,
so
that's all
also you
Hannah would
just
need to
have to
do.
be teachable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's hard to teach him because his mom's seemingly done a lot for him. Like, you can tell at that meeting where they met the parents and everything. I mean, she played her part well for those people.
He rehearsed. She took notes. The only
Yeah.
problem, though, was the entire time I was so distracted by her little outfit.
Yeah.
Did you notice how her boob was like out of
Yeah, you can
the
see it right there. You can see it, like
Yes, yes,
that.
right there. It was like this.
Yeah.
How do you not feel that?
I got boobs, so I could never. I couldn't
Yeah.
have that rubbing against me.
Well, and the thing is, it was supposed to be underneath, but like
Mhm.
she must have lifted her arms or something, and then just one of them came up over her boob, and the other one is where it's supposed to be. It
Mhm.
just looked so bizarre. I was so distracted. But yeah, other than that, she did a great job.
Yeah, she won that mom over, and I kind of felt bad that like right after she like dumps the guy, but you could
I know.
tell Hannah wasn't truly feeling Nick in the way of like, oh, well, I want to marry him. The only time you could see her really wanting to be with him is when he was talking to somebody else.
Yeah.
So enter Stephanie. They went to
Is that her
that.
name?
Yeah, they went to that. Well, what were they? The meet and greet or whatever.
Yeah, like the all cast party.
Yeah. And he was actually able, he's the only one that said, I want to talk to this girl, Stephanie. And I'm like, Stephanie? Who the hell is Stephanie? Like, we never heard of this Stephanie girl.
Mm-hmm.
It came out of
Katie.
nowhere.
Her name's Katie. I'm like,
Oh,
why does that
Katie.
sound wrong?
Okay, maybe it is wrong. I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry, Chick Chat. But
That's
yeah,
okay.
Katie. Yeah. He's talking about this girl, and I'm like, wait, we never even saw. He's like, well, we were number one for a couple days. I'm like, I thought Hannah, the whole time you've been saying Hannah was the only one that was your number one. Like, what?
So
I'm
wait,
lost.
so you don't remember her either? I don't remember her from the pods.
I don't think they ever showed her, honestly. But I will say I took like way too long to watch this season because I had to keep taking breaks because this
Every
season.
episode was an hour and 10 minutes for
Wow.
all 6 of the new first drop episodes.
Yeah.
That is just too long. I don't think we needed to see all those awkward meet and greets if it was going to be an hour and 10 minutes per episode. That's
Yeah. But I will
draining.
say, Hannah was right about this little situation because it wasn't just oh, hi, I want to, I want to just, have a little chat with you. And then I love my fiance. No, didn't he ask her to go to a game with him? Like, didn't he ask her on a date?
Yeah.
He's just lining up his next one.
Uh-huh.
In
Uh-huh.
front of
Maybe there was more going on behind the scenes than what we realized. Because
Yeah.
now in hindsight, it does kind of seem like he was really just getting them all lined up.
Mm-hmm. Well, in Nick, so the thing with Nick is that TMZ actually stopped him in the airport and asked him about The Bachelor or something like that. Now I'm paraphrasing here. I don't have the video memorized, but Nick basically said that he would be down to do The Bachelor or, another dating show. And then he had to stop himself because he's like, oh, well, that's if I'm not married or, whatever. Like he had to like hurry up and correct himself, but the damage was done. I don't know if
We
he's
all know Nick's not married.
Yeah, we all know he's not married. And obviously after this episode dropped, we know that as well. In fact, if you just would have waited a couple days, he would have been in the clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, before this episode dropped, this last one, you knew that he wasn't actually with Hannah anymore, mainly because of that TMZ. I don't know how much people follow outside of the show. A lot of times I try to not follow outside of the show, but you be seeing things about Tyler, you be seeing things about it gets all over social media, so it's hard to actually get away from it. But yeah, he already disclosed that he wasn't with, her. But I wonder if he did go on this date with Katie then. If they went to whatever game.
I do remember her from the pods now. They did. They talked about football a little bit, and they had some cute banter going back and forth about football teams. She works for a football team, not externally, but I think she said like the somebody's pay my bills, and it wasn't the team that he liked.
My question is her and Hannah actually best of friends? Because the way that I feel like they met in the pods. She's like, that's my best friend ever. That's, and I'm like, are you sure? Like,
if they did meet in the pods, that's so weird to say.
Yeah, I'm like, do you guys know each other outside of here? Because if you do, I don't think you're supposed to. Like, I don't think that's how Netflix is supposed to be working.
Although like, we had that whole thing go on with the
Lydia Milton and Uche and all that. Like, that was, I think after that, Netflix was pretty good about, keeping people not knowing each other. But
yeah, they learned their lesson with that. That was messy.
Shout out to my man's Uche.
What's Uche up to these days? Uche would have been a great addition to this season. I do feel like this season is a little bit dry.
This season is so dry. They did have a lot of drama this season, but it's not giving it's giving more drama than it is Love is Blind. Like you actually want to have one actual love story, and all of these people suck. Like the girls this season, for the most part, were pretty solid. I want to say, like they were all good with each other. When Monica had her issue with Steven, Taylor came down, and they were, they had a lot of girl power this season, a lot like last season. It seems like the girls really unite, but these guys sucked. All of them. Pretty much all of them. I mean, I think almost the best one was Nick and Garrett, and it's weird because I don't really think they're that great. But yeah, I wasn't really rooting for any guys this season. I was like, what is this? About to watch the UK version. Because I heard that one was good.
Did you watch it? I watched it.
I'm about to start it. I think I'm just gonna watch it and say screw it. But
you might as well. It's worth it. I thought initially that was maybe why I didn't want to. I don't know. I just wasn't very excited about this season of Love is Blind. It was out for almost a week before I even started watching it, which is so unlike me. I'm usually waiting. And I thought that it was because I watched the UK version just a couple weeks before that, but I don't know. I think I had an intuition that this season was a little bit dry. And again, when I was texting you this latest drop, before the weddings, so the one right before the weddings, I was texting Anne and I told her like, this is the episodes of Revelations, which is true. There's a lot going on here, a lot of bombs that were dropped, but I was just kind of itching for some drama at the same time too. So I was happy to have it.
Yeah.
I also don't love the way that they're plopping us into these conflicts this season. No context, no idea what's going on. There was an argument at the end of this last drop of episodes. I don't remember exactly who it was, but I remember being more confused than ever. Do you remember what the cliffhanger was?
I want to say it was Ramses and
and they all had their eyes all sad, like they were crying all night, and then they came together, or we're gonna talk about this, or blah blah blah, and I have no idea, none, what is going on there. Usually I can find some context clues, like with the curly-headed guy and Monica.
She must have asked him to use a rubber that day.
She must have, or maybe she refused intimacy or like whatever, but I don't know. I hate
Yeah.
the way that they're not giving us any context into these arguments. It's as if we've just been dropped into the room.
It's
And we're just
madness.
watching now. It doesn't make any sense. Especially because you can tell they're still doing those stupid scenes like where Nick and Hannah break up. It's
Hmm.
obvious that they broke up before their breakup scene and then they sat down and filmed it.
Oh
So why
yeah.
are we not having a scene where we stop the argument for a moment and rewind for a second and then get back into the argument so that everybody knows what the hell is going on?
Oh yeah.
Why can't we do that?
You know, I don't know. But you know what? Seeing their cast photos next to each other, they kind of have similar face.
No, how?
Their eyes and their nose. Like I don't know, it just lines up for me. But maybe I'm alone. I don't know, but I will say Hannah had a glow up after this. I wish I had a photo of her now, but that girl looks like Marsha Brady right now.
I mean,
She
she kind
looks
of does even here.
but she's got the long hair now and she's like really thin. Like, I mean, she was beautiful honestly before, but she has like super long hair. It's giving like 70s Marsha Brady. You'll have to look her up on Instagram because, yeah, I wish I had a photo that I could throw up here of her now, but
Right.
yeah, she definitely blew up. But yeah, obviously they don't stay together. You know, they did do a lot of thrill seeking though. These people, they skydive, not skydive. They're not the ones skydive. They did this like indoor thing and then they also zip lined and stuff like that. So at least they got that out of it. I will say that. But
That's true.
I don't expect to see Nick on The Bachelor though. Like he was teasing. I would be from his mom's basement. Like, is that where? Because he
Are
even
you
made the joke about.
serious, sir? You don't even know how to invest your money into stocks and you want to be on The Bachelor? No,
He was like, "Isn't that a waste of time,
no.
money?"
This girl on Love is Blind is not going to marry you because you're not pruned enough to
And
be
she's
wed.
the youngest one,
I know.
so it's like, okay, Nick. Ugh. Moving on though, I have to get into this man before we let you go or whatever is going on. I have to get into him, Steven.
I don't want to talk about Steven.
We have to talk about Steven. Steven was a mess from day one. And I knew he was putting on some kind of BS in the pods. I was like, no one's this agreeable, okay? Nobody agrees to every single thing a person says unless they're up to something.
I can't look at this picture. It's so funny.
It's great.
It's totally him.
It is him. He was so weirdly agreeable. Like, even if he would start off the sentence like opposing whatever she's saying, she would say, like, oh, like for instance, oh man, I'm trying to think of a great example, but let's just say, okay, she said, oh, I like grape, or he said, oh, I like grapes. And she was like, oh, I hate grapes. They're a horrible color. You know, they're too chewy. They're this. He'd be like, yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
Yeah.
It's like, have your own opinion, sir. He couldn't
Yeah.
do that. So I don't know. I saw right through him most of the time, especially when they got to that cast party and he was talking about girls getting in his DMs after the show. I'm sorry, if any of y'all are in his DMs after the show, even if he was great, what does he think this is? That every Love is Blind dude has these DMs of girls wanting to, excuse my French, but S his D?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who's doing
I don't
that?
know. But you know what? I kind of just thought of this too, but it was him and Garrett who were supposedly having that conversation. And now we know that Garrett was having some kind of communication that was lied about with his ex. And I wonder if really Garrett is also just as bad as this dude, but just hasn't been found out yet.
I think they're all bad,
Because
honestly.
otherwise, don't you think Garrett would be kind of. There have been men on Love is Blind that have decided that one man is toxic and they've all kind of stayed away from him. And I feel like if Garrett was as good of a guy as he's acting like he is, if he really knew Curly Head, he would be like, nah,
Yeah.
not my kind of cup of tea, not my guy. I'm certainly not going to get into deep conversations with him
Mhm.
over fireworks in Mexico. And so I think they're a little closer in personality than we know.
I mean, honestly, I don't disagree with that. We'll get into Garrett in a little bit, but yeah, they seemed pretty close until he had to comfort Monica about all this. And even then, when they went to the cast party, they said to Garrett, like, "Hey, is Steven coming?" And he was giggling, like, so they're probably best of friends, honestly.
I think so.
But
I
this
just want to know
man,
how you get drunk at a sleep study.
yeah, you
One of
don't,
those things is a lie, if
you
not
don't.
both.
Like I've told you, my brother's done a sleep study because my brother has sleep apnea, so he's done a sleep study. You're not
Mhm.
supposed to drink. Like you just go to a facility and you go to sleep. You
Yeah.
don't drink. There's no bar there. And even
Especially
if
if
you went
you're
there,
drunk enough to be texting girls the types of things you're apparently texting girls.
well, and you're also hooked up to stuff. So they don't want you drunk because they got to
Right.
read different levels. They got to figure out, what's going on in your body, like why you can't sleep. And like, why are you doing a sleep study in the middle of Love is Blind? Like, you're in an experiment. Why are you doing another experiment? You're double dipping experiments. Like, that's not how this works. You figure that out before Love is Blind.
I mean, if it was for medical necessity, you got to do what you got to do. But you're so disgusted.
No, you don't. Like, he should have had
What
that
do
figured
you
out
know?
before.
That one guy showed up with the whole elephant situation last
Exactly.
season.
Jeremy last
Yeah,
season had a
yeah.
sleep apnea mask. He should
What's
already
the
have that figured
difference?
out.
What's the
Well,
difference of having the mask or having to go to the thing to get the mask? I mean, at some point in the lifetime, you got to do the thing where you go to the place for them
yes,
to
but
tell you you need a mask.
I just think it's strange. I just don't think there was a sleep study. I just think it's very
No,
obvious that there was no sleep study. This man just went out with this person, and I want to know, for one, how she found the messages to begin with, and
I think I
two,
know this. Sorry, go ahead.
okay. And then in two, when she was talking to him and asking him to see his phone, and he's like, "Well, I deleted them all." I was screaming at her. I was like, "Girl, no! Do you know that the edit function? There is an edit function on the phone right here. When you
You're
go
about
up,
to break
there's
up some marriages, Anne.
there is an edit right here. Okay, if y'all chick chatters don't know, and you hit that edit, you can see select messages, edit pins, set up name and photo, and show recently deleted. Most people don't even know that. I didn't know that. My husband told me about it.
Mm-hmm.
It took me 15 years to know about that. I don't know how long iPhones have been out, but apparently it's been like that. So
Yep.
you can find your recently deleted from there, as long as dude don't clear those, which he might, he might be that slimy that he knows about it and clears it. But you know, this man, she could have at least attempted to see that. I just wanted to scream like, "No, Monica, grab his phone anyways, and just take a look. Just take a look."
Mm-hmm. I know. I
It
know.
was killing me. I was like, "No, don't take that. You want to see these." So how do you think that she knows?
I heard in an article. I never know the like how good these sources are, but I read that there was a group text going on about something between all the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember exactly what it was about. Anyways, there's a group text going on between all the cast, and Monica was in the group text, but she left her phone somewhere else, and she saw the text message come up on Dude's phone and assumed it was the group text, so she wanted to keep herself clued in. So she went to go grab it, and the text was actually from the girl.
Okay, that would make
Because that's how she knew. She's like, no, you were talking to her today, because that's how she found out was from her directly
yeah.
texting you. So I guess she wasn't snooping. She was expecting a different message to be on his phone, and it wasn't.
I mean, this guy is screaming like X addiction, because all this
He
man
told her
talks about.
exactly how he was going to cheat on her
Yeah.
in the bots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did he say? He was like,
He
oh
said
my
the
god.
same thing. He said, I didn't think that I deserved to be with this woman, which is totally whatever, like, that's what he was giving when him and Monica had this confrontation. And he couldn't
Mm-hmm.
even stand to sit there and look at the pain that he's caused to somebody. He had to get out of there. He
Mm-hmm.
said he didn't think that he deserved the person. He didn't know how to communicate that. So he made a stupid mistake and hopped in somebody's DMs. That is exactly what he just did. He told her what he was going to do. I'm telling you, you guys, when people show you and tell you who they are, you should listen. I know people change, and he had a great story about people changing, and I do feel badly for Monica. I don't think this is her fault for agreeing to marry him, but if someone tells you something that specific, you better tuck that in your mind.
Yeah.
And thank God that this happened before they got married.
She was so blown away by the 23andMe thing. Like, she was just so blown
She
away
thought it was
because
so cute, and it was, and we were all rooting for you.
I just, I'm just not gonna lie. I wasn't rooting for him because I could just tell there was something off with this man. Like, like,
He
I don't
reminds
know.
me of somebody that I know that I think is a good guy. So I think I just had this positive bias towards him. But no, he's weird. He's a weirdo.
And yeah, he thought he was Italian, then he thinks he's African and all that, which, you know what? Fun fact, Italy was invaded by Africa, so he still could be a little bit Italian.
I think he said on his 23andMe that they were less than 1% Italian.
Yeah. But same. Like, either way, I don't know. He was telling us the whole entire time who he was. He was talking about getting, let's just call it diddled, since we got all this Diddy stuff going on. He was talking about getting diddled. He was wasn't he asking her to diddle him or something? Like, I was getting so confused. They talked so much about backdoor stuff in a scene. I was like, what is this? Like, what is happening?
Man is a freak.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell he has some kind of kinks and issues and whatever.
He's all like, I love it when you treat me like meat.
It's like, I bet you
This
do.
man has some kind of weird fantasies about a woman just like
Dominating. Yeah, you can
like
tell.
zombie mode on him. And that's fine. I'm not gonna like kink shame anyone or anything like that, but he needs to have a better reign over his urges and desires.
Well, if you're going to get married and go on a show like Love is Blind, I honestly just think that this man was just trying to get his clout, just like a lot of other people were, just trying to get his clout. That's all this was about.
There's several times where he looks directly at the camera, one of them being right before he walks away from Monica. And those are always moments for me where it's always, for some reason, feels like a confirmation when they look directly at the camera that they're there for the cameras.
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of like when Gary 2.0 on Teen Mom looked at the camera and said, "Did you get that?" after he fake proposed to Amber Portwood. It's sort of the same vibe.
Yeah. No, you're right. It was weird. Although I will say, if I was like in front of cameras and not being used to it, I might look at the camera a couple of times. But I wouldn't. I don't know, the looks. I think it was the looks he was giving the camera. It wasn't just like a quick glance of, oh yeah, you're right there. Like, oh, whatever. Mm-hmm. I wish he would have stuck that needle further in his head.
I forgot they did acupuncture.
Honestly. Yeah.
He needs some kind of help. Probably a therapist. Probably.
And then this girl talked to him before the cast party. She was telling her, oh yeah, I talked to Steven on the phone for a few hours, but we're just friends or whatever. I'm like, friends? You're friends?
And still convinced that he's such a nice guy and all of this. It's just, there's something really creepy and toxic and manipulative about a man who can just smooth things over that easily. You are not telling the truth. The truth is messy, sir. The truth is complex. It doesn't just get smoothed out and everyone thinks you're a great person overnight. No, you're feeding this woman BS and she thinks it sounds beautiful. You're not telling her the truth. If you told her the truth, you would tell her, I'm a crazy sex addict that can't control myself.
Yeah, she should have talked to the girl, honestly. She would have got a lot better information out of her, like how this started, like what's going on. If he was texting her before Love is Blind, because probably was. If he's on dating apps, whatever. I mean,
yeah, because he's not at the point at that moment that he's going to have any clout over Love is Blind. He's not even allowed to talk about it.
We saw how they did Jeremy and who was the other one, Trevor and all that. Mm-hmm. Nah, once you screw up like this on the show, you're done.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, done. No one wants to mess with. You're not getting what you're getting in your DMs right now is a bunch of angry women.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's true. As he should.
Or possible, backdoor things. I don't know what's going on with that.
There's some girls that like to egg around here, I heard.
I wish, if anything, I wanted to hear more about that. It's like
I wonder if she did that with him.
she should have. She
I
should
hope
have. If that'd be one thing that I'd hope for her is that she definitely
It's an opportunity you have to take if it presents itself in life.
Because it doesn't normally.
It normally does not, unless you come across a wild wildebeest such as this.
And somebody you don't want to see again after that either. Like if
A
you
man who likes to be meat.
And he did. I mean, he was so overly like actual, and he was just, you could just tell someone was off with this man from jump. I was like, what is wrong with this cast of characters we got? The one I was rooting for the most, Tyler, turned out to be a complete D-bag. So
he's the worst one just because he just lied so blatantly. He lied on his application. He lied to our girl Ashley hundreds of times. He lied about the way these kids were made. He lied about his involvement. He lied to the baby mama about his involvement. If he truly does owe this child support that I heard about, it's just lie after lie after lie. Who are you? And if Ashley marries him,
I really, really hope she doesn't. I can't even stop going back to that just because that is what blows my mind the most out of this whole entire season is Tyler and Ashley. And it's not like whether or not they make it or whatever. It's literally the fact of you could have told her in the pods, y'all had 9 days or plus.
And I think she would have said that was okay.
But I think the reason he didn't is because he was a lot more involved than what he's trying to play off.
Right. But he could have just been all the way real about that as well.
Then like, you know what? I have 3 kids. We had Jessica last season who had a daughter. Now Love is Blind is starting to branch out when it comes to these kids,
Which is so ethically concerning to me, but also yeah, I don't know. We don't have enough time in this live today to get through that.
Yeah, for sure.
I do have to run soon though, but can we talk about a dude who broke up with what's her name?
Oh yeah, I'm pulling them up right now. So we got oh my god, what was his name?
I don't know. I keep forgetting all their names tonight. I'm sorry, guys.
These two, I have a really hard time with their names. I do not know why.
Tim, but not
Drake.
Tim.
Timmy Drake. Tim Drake. And then what was her name? I'm just so bad with names. I keep wanting to call her Ashley, but she's not Ashley. And then sometimes I want to call her Tiffany, but I don't want to call her Tiffany. So she's kind of, I don't remember. I'll have to look up.
Do any of your pictures of them have their names on the little top?
I'm about to look them up. But yeah, Tim here.
There's some people watching. Maybe you guys could help us, remind us what Tim Drake's lady's name is.
I'm just horrible with names, so it's not anything other than that. But hold on, I think I have. Oh my gosh, where is it? I'm about to pull it up right now. I didn't mind them until
I liked them.
Until they, had their issue with. I mean, all right, we'll just start off with the pods. The pods, I felt like they were solid almost in the pods. Like, I was cool with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think their relationship didn't start to unravel until
Alexa,
really?
Her name's Alexandria, but they were calling her Alexa now, and I'm thinking about it. Yeah,
I feel like I never heard that name in my life.
Oh, I know.
Other than the Amazon creature.
Season 3, yeah. But yeah, her name's Alexandria, but they're calling her Alexa. Yeah. So
Alex, maybe? Were they calling her that?
Yeah, maybe. I think they were calling her Alexa, but we'll call her Alex. just to be.
I think like Tim and Alex, that sounds more familiar than Tim and Alexa, but
anyways,
it's late.
Yeah. So they were pretty decent in the pods. They had a really good reveal. I was almost like, okay, this could work,
I thought so.
And then they got to Mexico, and it seemed like they were kind of awkward for a little while. Like you could kind of tell, and I think it would be awkward. I think this whole situation, if it were me, it would kind of feel a little awkward. I'm not gonna lie. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. But then there was didn't she put her hand over his mouth at the cast party?
It wasn't at the cast party. It seemed like it was in private afterwards.
Okay. After, yeah.
I think they got into an argument after the cast party. But no, I agree. Right off jump from the beginning when they started hanging out in Mexico, they did get this weird dynamic between the two of them. I don't know if that was the dynamic that they wanted or if it just kind of happened that way, but it was playful, but it was also kind of rude. Like she was making fun of him for this hat that he wanted to wear, and then he kind of pushed and like wanted to wear the hat even more, and then she kind of dug in even. It just seemed like it was that way with everything, and that can be fun sometimes, but it also makes a relationship really exhausting and really hard to navigate, especially when you're trying to establish some sense of who we are and are we secure and do we like each other. I feel like it's hard when you have all that playing back and forth going on. It's nice to have a banter, but just
Right.
felt like a lot of banter going on. So I thought that they kind of started off on a weird track. And then they got in that argument. She put her hand over his mouth. And it didn't really feel like he quite got over that. He was pretty committed to leaving at that moment. And honestly, he probably just should have.
He should have. Because this man in Mexico, I mean, it seems like you have to walk around eggshells on this man. Talk about deal breakers. This was the season for deal breakers. All these men had a million deal breakers. He said to her, if I get into any kind of argument where I have to raise my voice, I'm going to leave. That's toxic to me. I mean, it's just bound to happen in a relationship. You get into a fight sometimes, like sometimes you lose your temper a little bit. It doesn't mean you can't rein that in and come back to it. I'm not saying that you should always be screaming at each other, but when it does happen, it's not the most unnatural thing. You just have to be able to come back and work it out. He was like, I ain't having it. If you make me even raise my voice once, I'm done with you. And she's like, what? She said, challenge accepted.
I know.
And I was like, well, that's a little bit toxic as well. But, tomato,
Right.
tomato.
Well, they did figure it out a little bit, enough for him to take his dirty little nasty little manipulative ass to her father who has MS, make that man all emotional and cry over this beautiful letter that he wrote.
I'm not gonna lie, that scene, I was like, it tore me up. That man was cute as hell. That was like the most beautiful parent scene other than like Clay's mom, I think, in the whole series. Like, I was just,
I mean, maybe I'm just too impressionable, but like, bam, they were my favorite couple right after that. I couldn't wait to see the wedding. I couldn't wait to see all of it. I thought it was so cute how they, made it through that whole little moment, and their families asking, "Oh, have you guys had an argument yet?" They're like, "Yeah," right there. They're like, "Yeah, we have it."
Yeah,
You know what though?
just,
Look at that smile. That's the same smile he had
yeah.
when he had that weird little, "I don't want to see you ever again." That was weird.
It was strange. Yeah. So they go from that. And I guess that was like the day before or whatever. And then they meet up with his family and it seemed to go well. But apparently, off camera, like I think when we saw that conversation between him and his parents is when she took that nap. And I don't know if it was an hour, I don't know if it was 2, if it was 3, whatever. But apparently she went to sleep while his parents were there, which, yeah, I do find that strange. I would say, like, if it was me, I'd be like, you're only going to see them for a few hours. Like, can you just like stay up till they leave kind of thing? But, if it's just an hour and they're just filming for a scene anyways, and they don't want her in the scene, they just want to talk to him one-on-one. I don't see why not take a nap. I mean, I feel like there's two sides to everything, but
I think it just could have been as simple as a conversation. And that's what she was trying to say is I didn't know that me staying awake while I wasn't involved in a scene that you were filming was important to you, because I get if they were in the real world and she went to sleep during the first parent meeting, probably not great. probably should assume he doesn't want you to sleep during that time. But I also think this filming schedule is brutal. Everyone's eyes are starting to look
Yeah.
red during the day. You can tell they're all starting to get really exhausted.
They're all
And
drinking alcohol.
they're all drinking all the time. And a lot of people's that have medical problems, I don't know if she does, but a lot of medical problems cause people to be exhausted, cause people to need to take naps. It's just even like something as little as a thyroid problem can make you
Mm-hmm.
need a nap once a day. So I just feel like there should have been a lot more communication around this specifically because, yeah, it's probably pretty obvious if this just happened in real life, but they could have been filming for an hour, hour and a half. I
Well,
actually
they were
found
filming for
myself
4, she said. She said that they
well,
had already
she
had
talked to her family for 4, but yeah,
4
when
hours.
she wasn't involved, like,
And
if it
the
was
first
4 hours
time
for them to all talk, it was definitely over an hour for him to talk to his
oh,
parents.
yeah. And the first time that you meet somebody's family, if you're there for 4 hours just, like, talking about what? Like, at this point, like,
I'll
you
need a
know,
nap
that's very
after that
long.
myself,
Yeah.
I swear, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but this is very true. As I was watching him talk to his family, and I've never thought this about any other couple, watching them have their alone conversation with the family, I was thinking to myself, "Where did she go? Did she leave?
Yeah.
Is she just sitting in there, staring at the ceiling, waiting for them to come inside?"
She was sleeping.
I felt curious for some reason about where she went.
I think it's because usually they play it off as, like, somebody's going to the bathroom real quick or they'll,
Right.
like,
Oh,
shoo them
yeah, yeah,
away.
yeah. You're right.
Like, with the dad scene, like, they were like he was like, "Hey, can you guys get out of here so I can talk to the dad?" Like, usually there
And you
is
could
some kind
see
of
them still
segue.
outside beyond the window.
Just like
But I also knew that she was alone, so
yeah.
I just thought I saw them all sitting outside, and I didn't know if they were at their apartment that they stay in together or if they went and visited his parents, and I just imagined myself as some strange house sitting in the middle of a room waiting for people to be done talking about me. It just felt awkward to me. I probably would have went
Yeah.
to sleep too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame her for sleeping, honestly. I do think so when he comes back, he brings up, all of a sudden they're in a fight, right? She's eating and he's like, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" She's like, "I haven't eaten all day. Like, can this, wait a few minutes?" "No, I'd rather
Yeah.
talk to you and see your face." She's like, "You want
Yeah,
me to
and
move
come
over
sit
here?"
right here with
Come
your
sit.
food too, girlfriend.
Man, in mid-meal, he doesn't even wait for her to eat, like, and mind you, like, if it were me, I wouldn't be able to eat after this conversation. So
That's
let
why
me
she shoved that french fry in her mouth real quick after. She's like, I gotta get something in.
Yeah, because she didn't touch it after that. But yeah, so he sits down and he's upset, but he's like, you could tell he's done. And he's just like, whatever happened yesterday wasn't cool. Like, you went to sleep and then I didn't get a text back about some car things, like
About her tires,
her
about her own
tires.
car.
Like, what is this? He's been wanting to leave, I think, since she put her hand on his mouth.
Yep.
He's just been looking for another reason.
Mm-hmm.
And he should have never had that conversation with her dad at that point. Like, I agree with her 100%. Like, he could have, if he wasn't going to come home and have the conversation, which he should have been like, you know what, this upset me. This is why. And then she was pretty receptive to it. She's like, you know what, if you should have told me. And, from now on, like, just tell me whatever. He's just like, no, I'm done. I'm
She
done.
was all ears. She was ready to have a conversation. She took the feedback from last time, from their last
Mhm.
argument. She was ready. And he was poking at her during that conversation. He would interrupt her and be like, "Oh, are you gonna let me talk?" And then he'd let time go on for too long without talking. It just he did all of that just to try to get her to turn back into the girl who put her hand over his mouth. And she
Yeah.
was like, "No, no, no, you are not going to do that to me today. I'm going to sit here and eat my french fries. I'm going to listen to your little monologue that you have.
Oh
And
my
if you
God.
feel like you need to walk away, then you need to walk away. But I am not going to touch you. I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm going to let you interrupt me so you
Yeah.
can look like the fool that you are. Because he
And
is
he
a
did.
fool.
He totally interrupted her a bunch of times too. So he's
Yeah.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not.
That was as close to out of character as I feel like he wants to get himself. But let me tell you, that's not cute. I would rather you show some emotion and be like, you know what, I'm really angry right now, and maybe raise your voice a little bit. But this whole smile while I'm saying mean stuff to you and act as if you're being disrespectful because it's my turn to talk while
Yeah.
I'm delivering that disrespectfully. That stuff is very obvious and it's very gross.
This man can't handle being in any type of relationship if this is really how he is. Like,
Mhm.
he's never going to be in a long-term relationship. There's conflict in relationships. Sometimes you don't get a text back. Sometimes people go take a nap. Like, the things he's upset over, even the hand thing, like, sometimes, yeah, people do stupid stuff. She shouldn't have done that. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened in that argument. She shouldn't have done that, especially, you're just meeting this guy in all actuality. So she shouldn't have done that. But if you can't handle things like a conflict, then you're not to be in a relationship ever. This is why you're here, dude. This is exactly why you're here. This is exactly why you already ain't snagged up. That's your issue. I'm saying all these guys this season, just issue after issue after issue. Like, this man's deal breakers are just as bad as Ramses's deal breakers. At least Ramses, I guess, stayed regardless of his deal breakers, and he's just probably going to divorce her in 15 years, like the mom keeps saying.
No,
This
he's gonna
man,
divorce her next year.
this man is just one thing goes wrong. Like, let's say they went to a restaurant, she orders the wrong food for him. He's like, I'm done. I'm done. I don't ever want to see you again. Like,
Yeah. That's the
no.
craziest thing too. I have had some people do some things to me in relationships. I don't think I've ever looked a man in the face and be like, I don't ever want to see you again. How dramatic, especially knowing that you have this all cast party coming up in just several hours.
In a
That wasn't even the
reunion.
next day. That was the same exact
Yeah.
day. You're gonna look at this girl with a weird little smile on your face, all I don't ever want to see you again. And then you're gonna get dressed up and see her again.
Was he there?
Yes.
I don't remember him being there, but then again, at the cast party, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of cooking, so I was kind of in and out a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, it kept showing these weird, she'd look over and then it act like he was looking over. I'm sure nobody was looking at anybody because he didn't ever want to see her again, and she didn't have any interest in trying that.
Yeah, I don't think they talked.
They did not talk. I truly don't think they even looked at each other, but Netflix tried to make it look as if they did the whole, I'm looking while you're not looking, and you're not looking while I'm looking. I don't think that happened. I
She
don't
might
think
have
that.
looked at him a couple times, like, "What is wrong with this man? Like, why is he here?" But
I was trying to figure that out my damn self.
yeah, I'm not a fan of him. But then again, he gave me red flags the moment he says that he can't handle conflict. That was the moment. I think I even texted you. I was like, "This man can't handle conflict. I'm done with him." And
Hmm.
but
At first, I kind of liked what he said about it. I thought it came across healthy initially. Of if somebody has the power to get me so angry, then I know myself well enough to know that that's not a good space for me. But I feel like I put a healthy spin on that
yeah,
my own self. I don't think that that's what he really
yeah.
meant.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think he was basically saying, like, we get in one argument, like, I'm done. And
Yeah,
that's very avoidant to me. I just don't think that it's not indicative of a actual healthy relationship in the long run, because nobody's going to agree all the time. And
yeah,
sometimes you might have an actual real argument with somebody where
yeah,
you are yelling. I mean, I've had a few arguments with Dean where we were yelling back and forth at each other, but what you do is you know yourself well enough to take the space
hmm,
back and you can talk about it later. Like, that's what he could have done. And
yeah.
that's how he should live his life. But instead, he's like, you get me to raise my voice once, I'm out of here. Like,
Hmm. Well, and he lives that way too. I mean, both times that they got into an argument, he was convinced individually within his own self that he was not going to
yeah,
see her again.
I think he knew he wasn't going to marry her right from, I mean, honestly, even when they were talking, it was just, I don't know, they were pretty awkward off and on. So I don't even know if the hand thing had to happen. I just think this man was looking for it out.
Hand thing.
I just, I don't
Hand
know.
gate. We're going to
I
call
can't,
it.
I can't with them, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I do think that she, like, I would have been like her though, just as confused and just as like, what is wrong with this person? Because
Honestly, I feel like that's why she ate afterwards because I get it. After something emotional, I can't really eat either. But if it's that confusing, I think I'm okay. I'm good on that. You did us a favor. Thank you. I don't
yeah,
ever want to see you again either.
yeah,
Weirdo.
they did.
Your
Well,
strange ass smile.
Might as well get into this very last couple. I don't have much to say about them, but might as well bring
They're
them up.
my last hope at this point, and I don't have a lot of hope for it.
No, because I think Garrett's a little not truthful all the time. So, and I was okay with them. Like, honestly, they weren't my favorite couple. Although I think she is so pretty, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous. But I mean, all the women this season were absolutely stunning. I don't know where they found these dudes. Women were absolutely stunning. But but with Garrett, like in the pods, they were cute. I thought they were so cute. It was giving like Milton and Lydia for a second, like with the smart talk and the equations and all that. Like I was all for it at first.
Right.
I was like, okay, they're cute. And she reminded me a lot of me, like being like very joking all the time, very sarcastic and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, okay, I like her.
I thought it was cute in the pods too. She kind of played hard to get. It almost got annoying for a second, but she did kind of play hard to get for a minute, which I thought was cute. I also thought it was funny that the trophy wife girl
Brittany
said that she did not know how to spell physicist. That I didn't think was funny because I probably don't know how to spell that either. But when he left the pods, he looked over at some other dude and he's like, "That's not my girl." I'm like, "That is not your girl."
No, he was absolutely right. Yeah, no, she oh my god, what's her name? Oh, Taylor. She was solid. I liked her. I liked them together. And the way that they came together for Monica was pretty awesome too. I was like, okay, I can deal with Garrett. He came down, he was talking to her. Although, like you said, I think him and Steven are like pretty close. Mm-hmm. So it seems like
I remember the text message that Monica found, or why they were all texting. They were texting because of these two were making like pumpkin bread or something, and they were trying to deliver them to everybody.
Yeah, because they're all in the same apartment complex.
Yeah, so they got a group text together saying that they were making some kind of baked good for all the couples, and they were trying to figure out a time to get with everybody to deliver it to them. Mm-hmm. And so Monica was expecting that message, and she found dirty things. Imagine the wholesomeness of, "We made you baked goods that we'd like to bring over for you to enjoy," and then you find egging.
Oof. Yeah. And then, she tells Taylor about it, and then Taylor is like, okay, you need your moment to talk to him. And then she comes back with Garrett. So, I mean, they were really
supportive. Who held her little legs.
Yeah.
They were so cute. Yeah, that's probably the best place to be, as a man, when you want to provide some kind of physical support and it's not your lady. I guess the legs is nice.
His girl was there, so it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was fine with it. What she wasn't okay with was him getting a text from his ex. Oh. And honestly, I don't blame her for that. I mean, I don't know how I think he admitted to it, is what it was. He told her that the ex texted him, and he said he only liked it. And we saw them have that conversation before walking into the cast party. He never once said he replied to it. But then dude told on himself the moment he was talking with Ashley and Tyler. And he was like, yeah, I responded and said, this is my girl, whatever. Said the exact same thing that she said she wished he would have said to the girl, and blocked her. And then all of a sudden he regurgitated that out to Ashley and Tyler. And I'm like, did you say that? Or did you say anything? Or like, what is to believe here, sir? And just like, she's like, well, then give me your phone. He's like, it's over there. Like,
I don't care.
Go get that phone. If it's over there, go get it.
I don't care if your phone was on Mars. Go and get it. What do you mean? This is the most pivotal point of their relationship right there. And he's too lazy to go get his phone. That says something. Just like it says something that he was talking to curly haired dude about all the little thoughts and bops he's going to get when he's famous.
Yep. Yeah, that was so strange. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. I don't know. I don't have much hope for this couple, and I really don't think Taylor's going to say yes just because of this whole ex thing. Because, if he's not being upfront with you about that and it's before you're getting married, run. Because he's not being upfront. I mean, he's only been around you for 2 months and he's not being honest.
It's sad.
Throw them all away. I don't think any of these couples should be married, honestly. Not a single one. I think this is the one season where I'm like, not a single one of you. Not even one.
No. Public service announcement, do not date men in the DC area. They
Yeah.
may all be this way.
Yeah. I mean, you got this whole group of them that just ain't it. None of these guys are it. Not even Garrett. I think he would have had potential if he would have been honest about this text and stuff.
Right.
But also like you said, he was talking about how what's gonna happen after the show with Steven and all that. So I don't know. It could all be a front. I
I
would
think
be
it is
leery
all
about.
front.
I think at this point, if I were to go on Love Is Blind, or if anybody were to go on Love Is Blind after season like 4, 5, 4, basically, you got to be
Mhm.
leery of anybody on this show
Yeah.
because, oof, yeah, they're all bad. Especially these guys. I don't understand. Just like remember last season, Clay was pretending he didn't even know what the show was. Then why did you sign up, sir? Like, yeah, it's just been bad. I don't know. Like this, it's just becoming less genuine, and you just can't really recreate the magic of Lauren and Cameron, and even Zach and Bliss, or like Tiffany and Brett. To me, like,
Yes, Tiffany and Brett. I thought that Ashley and what's his name were gonna be the next Tiffany and Brett. I'm just so heartbroken, truly devastated over that damn relationship.
no one's more heartbroken than his kids. I'm sure.
Hmm.
Trust because or his ex or whatever's going on there. This reunion's going to be quite interesting. And the Lachey's came hard last reunion about some of these, Trevor and all that. There was a lot of things that they didn't air because it was so hard. Like I
Yeah.
guess Nick came after Trevor last season. And they
Yeah.
didn't
I
even
know what, I don't feel bad for him. He should have.
yeah, I know that guy was definitely on there for really bad reasons. So yeah, and it just seems like that's the pattern right now. You hear about on TV, oh, let me get on there, let me get some brand deals, let me get some girls in my DMs and whatever. And if people are really falling for that, like God bless y'all, because it couldn't be me. It could not be me. You won't see me in these people's DMs. The only one I even would have considered in this whole entire show would have been Cole. But that was just because he just reminded me so much of myself.
Yeah.
But I never like don't get it twisted. I never did that and I never would have done that. It was just that would have been the only even consideration. None of these people are worth it, you guys. Don't
Mhm.
give them that satisfaction because that's what they're going on this show for at this
Right.
point. It's not even for love. Like they need to totally revamp this show. There needs to be a better vetting process. They got what's her face on there, Chelsea from season 4 doing the
This is
casting.
actually the first season that she casted.
Yeah, well she did a horrible job.
With the men, at least. She did a grade A job with the women. I
Yeah.
guess, because she's also been in some dramas too about people doing this, calling her out about the casting. I suppose she says she's more of a liaison to the cast members, like she helps them prepare for what to expect and kind of go through the process and have an idea of what it's like before they officially sign on. But she doesn't have as much to do with picking out the people as maybe people think. At least that's what she says.
Sure, Jan. That's what you said at that one reunion. You said, I'm going to be in casting. Like,
Hmm.
don't announce that because then whenever anything happens, we're going to be getting at you. You're the
Yeah,
only one we know for sure is in
the only
casting.
thing that we know, Netflix probably did that to her on purpose.
Yeah. So even if you're not involved in any of that, good luck. Good
Yeah.
luck, girl, because you're going to be getting all this hate. Like, why didn't you vet out Tyler? Why didn't you, oh, I can't. These people had me heated, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm so happy that we did it this way in one big long video instead of doing it because normally we do this episode by episode, and this season was just so hard for me to watch. I had to stop and take breaks and all that just because I'm like, this is just so nothing's genuine about it. It just
Mhm.
feels like an icky season, and everybody kept talking about the ick this season. I'm like, y'all gotta get off this ick thing, like.
I hate the ick thing. I don't know what it is, if I'm just getting old or what. I understand getting grossed out by certain things, but the whole idea, I mean, even Monica, who was a very mature woman, was all, if I catch the ick, you can't get rid of it. What do
Yeah,
you mean you can't get rid of it? Just stop it. I
yeah.
don't know. Maybe they're talking about something that I don't know, but I do see that we have a couple people watching, and I feel like we're going to wrap up here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's a good time if you are watching and you have something you'd like to say or share, or something you feel like we didn't
Yeah.
talk about that you want to talk about with us. This is a good time to do that, because I think we are
Yeah.
gonna scoot out of here pretty soon.
Yeah. I guess final thoughts is like, who do we think's gonna actually get married?
Nobody.
I don't think
Well,
anybody.
okay, I know a spoiler. There will be a wedding that is successful. I
Okay.
can't say that there's a marriage that's successful, but
So do you know who do you know the spoiler of who it is? And how'd you find this spoiler? Just in case.
again, it's just hearsay. I can't necessarily say that I know for sure that there is one wedding that happens, but I heard from hearsay that there is one wedding that happens, and I do know who it is, but I'll tell you when we're done, but I don't want to say it online. It's pretty easy to find if you want to go figure out
Okay.
who got married, but
Unless
I
y'all
hate
want to know, if y'all want to know, let us know. You want to know.
I don't want one person to spoil it for the other 6.
If y'all don't want to know, I'm sorry, but yeah, I just can't think
Oh,
that.
see, they know.
See,
They out here. That's why I'm like, I don't want to say it, because if you want to know, you'll know.
and Blue says I saw the spoiler. I think
Mhm.
it's the Ramses and Marissa, and that's who I think.
That's who you think said yes.
Yeah, that's who I think said yes, because that man I feel like is a hobosexual. He's trying he's trying to get his second, third, fourth marriage in. I don't care.
But she doesn't even have any money yet.
No, but she gonna be a lawyer.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, he
I,
works
I
from
think that
all.
there's a chance for these two on the screen. I think there's a chance for Ramses and God, I'm so bad at these names. For that couple.
Marissa. But like I said
Sorry.
before, Ramses looks like almost identical to one of my exes, and it just like I just can't with him anyway. I already have a bias against this man, but he was just gross after that birth control thing. So each their own. Once he said that he don't wear the rubbers or whatever, I was like, okay, this man is gross. I'm done with him. I'm done. I'm done with him and his 2 dreads, like stinky for no reason. If you're gonna wear
Now
dreads,
you know why he's stinky, because he's out here raw dogging every girl that he finds.
exactly.
For it to be enjoyable. It's not
I'm
gonna be
all
enjoyable when you're sick.
I'm all for dreads. My brother-in-law has a beautiful set of dreads, but this man is not committing to dread. He can't even commit to a hairstyle. I don't even think he can commit to a woman. He's between
Yeah.
dreads and his curls. Like,
Yeah.
pick one.
Yeah, it's very true.
And then, like, if those dreads are real, so you just let one piece of your hair like grow out. Like, I couldn't even imagine what that looked like to start with. It already looks so silly.
Yeah.
All these people now look so different though. Like his hair is completely grown out and everything. I saw a photo and like, yeah, everybody looks different. So different. Except Nick. Nick looks the exact same.
I heard some people were I was wondering if this season was worth watching. It is very interesting.
Yeah,
It starts a little bit slow. The
it
pods,
does.
the 6 episodes of them in the pods, they're each an hour and 10 minutes long, which is a lot in my opinion to watch. That's 8 hours, 7 hours of television to watch, which usually for Love is Blind, I'm like, sign me up. I'm going to sit on my couch all day and watch it. I don't know why I wasn't that into it. You should watch it. Definitely don't let us dissuade you.
It's
It
worth
is
a
very
watch.
interesting. Yeah.
It just
Sorry for all the spoilers, though. You're going to know a lot.
Yeah, it just sucks to know that Tyler had all these kids on the side and that he was actually a father to these kids and lying about all that. So I think that's just the worst part of this whole thing. Other than, I mean, honestly, everybody sucks. All the men suck, but it is worth the watch to see it all just kind of go down.
Is that Jen? Are you watching us, Jen?
Yeah, it's her name.
Well, I just realized.
I don't know why she got that 2011 though.
No, it's this 1%. Why do you have that, Jen?
Yeah, you didn't graduate then.
Oh, wait, maybe she did. That's when I graduated.
No, she's older than us.
Oh. What did you do in 2011?
Yeah, what the hell were you doing then?
Maybe she created the name in 2011.
Possible.
Yeah, Jen, watch it.
It's worth a watch. I think we should go live again after the weddings.
Yeah, if you binge watch it, Jen, you can join us for our wedding live. Maybe we should just go live after the reunion.
We should
Or
go
both.
live after the next two, you know.
Comment
But-
below if you're either watching live or if you're watch afterwards, if you feel like we should go live after the weddings, after the reunion, after both.
Mhm.
Give us your
Yeah.
thoughts. But I think I am ready to go make myself dinner at 9:00 at night.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I will be having a video about Ryan and his babies and all that from Teen Mom coming out tomorrow. We also have Story of the Week coming out tomorrow. And then we will be getting our Gypsy video out. We're going to have an update for you as of this weekendish. And we'll also have another Sister Wives one coming out. So we do have some content coming out. And then, yeah, after this episode drops, the wedding one, I think we could go live, or at least I'll go live or whatever. We'll see.
Yeah, it definitely would be a shorter live. So yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure
We
can make
covered
it
the
work.
whole season right now, which was a lot better than us doing individual videos because my sanity is just not there for this right now. But this was a fun little experiment. So let us know if you enjoyed watching live, if you like the interaction, because yeah, I thought that this was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jen loves us.
We love you, John. Yes. So we'll see y'all next time, and thank y'all for watching Chick Chat.
Bye-bye.
Oh, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna. Goodbye.
2009, then why 2011, Jen?
I'm telling you. It's all
Let us
confusing.
know in our chat together.
She's throwing it off. Bye.
Bye.